Hello you guys, my name is Amarins Wierdsma. I'm a professional violinist from the Netherlands and at the moment I live in London. Sometimes I make little videos for YouTube whenever I can find time in my busy performing schedule. And today's video is all about little violin warm-ups. So a while back, probably about a year ago now, I made a little video about my warm-ups in the morning and my favorite ones. And I'm getting a little bit bored of them, so I thought I would watch some videos on YouTube and find some new warm-ups that I could do. So I wondered if maybe you guys would be interested in that as well. So I'm gonna share my watching and learning, and hopefully that will help you guys in some way too. So hope you enjoy the video and let's go right into it. So the first thing that I always do before warming up is tuning, so let's do that. So literally all I'm gonna do is just type in violin warm up and see what comes up first. Jinju Cho, I'm sorry if I pronounce that wrong, it's a video by the Schulich School of Music 3 years ago. So I'm gonna watch that and try and do my best to learn something. She said was super interesting to me, that the scales, that she believes that the scales are there to warm up your ears. And you know, I never thought about it like that. I've played scales probably since I was about 5 years old. I started violin when I was 2, and you know, the first few years I did this Suzuki method, and that was just kind of playing around and listening and, well, warming up my ears in a way. When I was 5, I started studying with Koosje Wijzenbeek, my Dutch teacher who passed away recently, and I'm very, very sorry about that. And I miss her. But yes, she started me on scales right away, and I've played them ever since, and I've always loved them. Just kind of, for me, it's a kind of meditative thing to get into the mood, but I love this idea of warming up your ears for intonation, and just so you're listening so precisely. And most of my life I spent playing string quartet, and so you have to play so in tune and be so aware of intonation. So yeah, I really like that. So she mentions playing long tones, and that is definitely something I would like to incorporate. I'm just a little bit too kind of impatient sometimes just to get to the whole warming up, but it could definitely be really good for my sound. So let me give that a try. So she said to put the metronome, which I don't have at the moment, to 60. So I guess you could also just count slowly in your head. So I'll do that. And recently we had a lesson with my quartet with Eberhard Feltz, this kind of guru type in Berlin, and he mentioned that you should try and play long tones for 40 seconds. So, you know, this girl is saying 8 clicks, and it could also be 40. So I guess the idea is just to make your bow as slow as possible. So let's see. Alright, so one thing that I already know that I shouldn't be doing is kind of this hunched over style. I should be broadening through my chest and just letting the sound flow through my whole body and using my body and my violin as my instrument. Let's try that again. Alright, let's call that 13 or 14. So things that I'm already noticing with myself is that I hear little bubbles in the sound, or little bumps where it's not exactly, you know, completely, the sound shouldn't stop, I guess that's what I'm trying to say. And you could do it on each string and each finger, and wherever you play on the violin, if it's up high, that comes with its own challenges. So yeah, I'm definitely gonna try and put that in if I'm not too impatient. Another thing that she mentions is the Schradiek book, which I have here. Actually, I think this is the wrong one, but it's all about warming up the fingers, and I like that as well. I mean, my kind of finger exercise is the fourths exercise that I got from my teacher David Takano in London, and that's kind of... I'm not warmed up yet. But that makes the hand position very strong, as well as warming up the fingers. And if we just go to a random page in Schradiek, it looks like this. I don't know, you can see a little bit. It's just like so it's like incredible. That sounded shit. Sorry. It's very good for just the warming up of the fingers, and just the brain and the fingers to get used to being, you know, everything independent, and just to let yourself kind of get in to playing the instrument without thinking too much about the music. Alright, so this was Jinju Cho's video. I think it's great. It really kind of goes into the basics of warming up, and she covers warming up your ears, warming up your fingers, and just kind of getting the feel of the music in the beginning of the day. And she covers tuning, which I even didn't think about covering because it's something I do without even thinking about it. You know what I mean? Yeah, let me know below if you'd ever like to see a video on tuning. And I think we talked about this one enough. I'm really liking this video, and it's given me some inspiration to do some long notes in the beginning of the day.
Hey guys, today I have something really special and a little bit different. Upon request of doing a violin tips and tricks video, I am going to share with you what I find is the most efficient way of warming up on the violin.
Alright, so one thing she says, which I think is very, very good, is the thing that, you know, everybody's anatomy is different, and that, you know, a warm-up will work for someone else, and that might not necessarily work for you. It's the same with fingerings on the violin. I really find that, you know, someone might have massive hands or tiny hands, and therefore they will do different things to get around the instrument. And it's very important not just to copy someone else blindly, but to think, okay, but is this what is working for them also working for me? And she also says this 5-minute warm-up is really the minimum of what you should be doing, and I definitely agree with that. I usually spend probably about 15-20 minutes. You know, if I really don't have time at all, then I'll just do something like that. So what that does is just gives me a little bit of a feel for where the notes are. It sounds very strange to say that because, you know, of course I've been playing for so many years, but still it's just it just feels nice. I could play also without a warm-up, but it's better not to. Alright, so let's get into that a little bit. So Sumina is saying that she does 4-octave scales every day, and that scales are the most important, that she doesn't like doing them, which I disagree with. I really enjoy doing my warm-ups, but you know, everybody does their own thing, and to each their own. I get it, scales may be boring, you know. So she does the 4 octaves, G major, G minor, A major, A minor. And 4 octaves I think is great because then, you know, in hard pieces you play, there's a good chance that you will actually make it up those 4 octaves. Let me give it a try. I haven't done 4-octave scale in a really long time. It's a bit out of tune. That'll do. Preferably it would be more in tune and better shifts. One thing that I've always kind of struggled with for many years was shifting down, so that is probably something that I could incorporate more. Just the gesture downwards, the upwards always was much easier for me. Don't know why. What was she saying next? Yes, tenths. So tenths are a tricky one. I think I probably covered them also in my other warm-up video, but I like what she says, that if you're wanting to stabilize the connection between your fingers here, that tenths are really good. So see what else she has to say before I take over. That's a good tip. That's something I do also without thinking about it, but always just to check your intonation as much as you can with the open strings and with the fourths when you play them. So to check things like that, then that really helps your intonation and helps warm up your ear, as Jurgen said. Sorry, I got your name wrong.
Get pretty sore. If you experience it, try not to push yourself too much, because in the end, the health of your hands are obviously more important than the intonation.
Very true also that when you're doing tenths or anything that stretches your hand, make sure to stop if you have pain, or kind of before you have pain, because it's very important for strengthening, but not to overdo it, because then you could really injure yourself.
Tenths are a little bit hard on your hands, so try to relax them.
Alright, so that was her video. She says she does thirds, which is very good to do, and to relax your hand, that's also really good. I don't really feel particularly relaxed when I do thirds. Maybe I should. And another thing she said was just to do slow practice, and she talked about intonation, and she said that basically when you play in tune, your violin should be ringing like a bell. And it's not how I thought about it, but I definitely agree with it. I guess for me it always is, I check my intonations with the open strings, and you can have kind of, well, there are many ways of thinking about intonation. In string quartet we think about tuning perfectly, basically, as much as we can, different than a piano would be tuned, for instance. So there are different ways to play in tune, and also when you play with piano you would play in tune in a different way. It's not something I'm going to get into in this video, but yes, let's say this ringing like a bell, I definitely agree with it, and it's a great way to think about intonation. But sometimes you can't always hear if you're ringing like a bell, I guess. I think that's enough for today, and I'm definitely going to try and do another one of these videos with probably another 2 warm-up videos from the interweb. And just discuss them with you guys. I think it's just a really nice way for me personally to get inspired to do different warm-ups sometimes, and I hope that it's also interesting for you guys to see, to do that with me and to see my process. And we can just discuss what you guys like to do. So I hope you've enjoyed this video, and if you'd like to subscribe, I'd be super grateful. It really just, it helps me grow on YouTube. Even though this is not my day job, it's kind of just for fun for me on the side, and I love sharing what I do with you guys, and it's just a different way than being on stage and practicing at home. So yeah, as I said, if you'd like to subscribe, that would be great, and otherwise just say hi below or watch and don't comment, all good. Yeah, hope to see you next time and enjoy practicing. Bye!